Welcome to the Problematic Sticker, PSU's anime podcast. It's the third official episode of this, and we are raring to talk about more anime-based goodness. I am your host, Neil Volts, here mainly because I do hosting normally on podcasts, and not because I have any in-depth knowledge of anime beyond what's recommended each week. So
we forced him to do it.
Yeah, this is it. It's contractually obligated nonsense, as is. But the people surrounding me, though, they are quite in the know about them animes. I have, of course, our regular contributor, that is Klaus Nightbringer.
Hi, welcome. How's it going, everybody?
I have Mr. Ben Shilliver Hall.
I'm forced to be on every podcast that exists ever. I mean, hello.
That just so happened to fit your needs and means. And we also have Gary Baltazar.
Hello, I am the one who forces Ben to be on every podcast ever.
We have Timothy. There's nothing news about this.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I remembered that I didn't remember a second one again this week, so that's the best you get, I'm afraid.
I think you could do like much noons about nothing.
Now I can't. You've used it.
Stolen.
I've got one. Can I say one? His noons still haven't been leaked. It's Tim Noons.
That's not true either.
Well, no. Leaked means that you didn't officially release them.
What is he not releasing?
Well,
I officially release at least twice a day.
Hey, same here. We can be release buddies.
We're talking about leaking, right?
Yes.
sure. Yeah. What leaking, I don't know, but still.
Various oils.
Starting with the problematic stickers early, huh?
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're leaking, you might want to go see a doctor immediately.
At the very least, immediately, yes.
I don't know. Around here, the last doctor I talked to told me that I didn't have to take my medication, so I'm not sure how credible that is.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it moving, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just because I want to forget that I run people on the podcast and they'll get annoyed at me. Chris Visser.
Yes.
Chris,
Hello.
hello, present.
Yes.
And I left this for last because he has a special tale to tell after the end of last week's podcast. It is Mr. Alfonso Boxel.
Hello, everyone.
So, Alfonso, before we talk anime, we would like to know the non-animated drama in your own life that occurred in the hours after this very podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Before I start, y'all don't know this, but I'm going to tell you now because eventually y'all will find out throughout the story. I have a bad attitude and temper problem. And when people affect certain people, I lose it. So with that being said, last week for Chris and Klaus, because Chris wasn't here and Klaus left early, Jenny came back early from Chicago, upset because she found out that her roommate was stealing her stuff. So she rushed into my house, mad. Now I don't know what the problem is. She gets here and she shows me the video. As I'm seeing the video, I start to lose it. So I go upstairs and I'm telling myself, what should I bring? Should I bring my machete? Should I bring my axe? Should I bring my sledgehammer? I don't know. I don't want to kill these people because then I'm going to jail. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring my brass knucks and my Deadpool knife. So get in the car. My phone was dead because of the podcast, so I left it there. So we get in the car. I'm seeing God was on my side because no cops involved, no cops nowhere. We get there. Their big mistake, they should have been left. So we get there. She open the door. We run straight to her room, and then they turn and see us. And the girl is shocked, and she has this big dude boyfriend. I guess I don't know who he is. All I know is, yeah, I need to drop this shit. And Shannon said, "How can you do this?" Blah blah blah. And the girl is saying, "Oh, I'm envious of you, and I like your stuff and all that stuff. And I've been planning." And like she basically told like she's been planning this because she knows Shannon goes travel a lot, and she knew Shannon was going away this time, and she was going to just take the stuff, leave, meaning never pay her rent, bail out on her lease, and just sell the stuff and go somewhere else.
Delightful.
I was like, okay. So the guy starts to walk up to me, and I told him two things. You either do something now, or you're going to be knocked out. So I told him, get your free shots now. So he took out his knife. I was like, go ahead and cut me. I let him cut me because I already know my body's already damaged because of all the accidents I have in the past that I'm immune to certain things now. So he got two of my fingers. So I was bleeding pretty bad, but I didn't feel affected. They're using the iron, so he burned me, but it wasn't that bad because the part that he burned me, I don't feel nothing there. And I said, "That's all you got?" And then he kind of backed away because he saw the look in my eyes that I was about to do shit. So I swung, and he lifted up his arm, and I cut him. Shannon told me about certain arteries, so I know the place that I cut him. He dropped. He was all woozy, he dropped. That's when I took out my brass knucks, and I started wailing on his face. I broke his nose. I gave him black eyes. Bust his lip. All his front teeth were knocked out. Like, am I done? And I'm saying this to myself. Am I done? Like, let me warn. I took my Deadpool knife and I slashed his face. Big slash over. He's gushing blood, and he's holding his face. I gave Shannon the brass knuck. I said, "Go ahead, get your licks." She fucked up the girl's face, like completely from forehead all the way to chin. Then we called the police. We told them what happened, self-defense, blah, blah, blah. They filed a report. They arrested them. I called my cousin. I said, "I need a favor." To my cousin's a lawyer. "I need you to set a court date tomorrow." We went tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. They both get in life because my cousin did her special tricks. All the stuff that they was touching, I told Shannon, "Dump that shit. I will replace all that." I said, "No, what you want to do? You want to go back to Chicago or you want to go somewhere else?" She said, "Let's go somewhere else." So I just was in Jamaica for 5 days. I didn't have nothing on me besides my passport, so I couldn't watch anime down there. And we came back Saturday. We cleaned up our place. We went shopping. I replaced all the stuff. I slept there Sunday morning, which is today. As I was getting ready for work, I only saw My Hero Academia and Boruto. I couldn't watch Cloud's recommendation and the other ones that I missed. And that was it.
So, like, I guess my question is, this is all the court stuff's done, right? And you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, all this is done.
You don't have to worry about this possibly being a confession.
No.
That was my thought too, Tim.
Yeah,
Should you be telling us this?
Yeah, my head was screaming, "Stop the podcast!"
Yeah,
It's like, we're going to cut this out of the podcast, right?
I'm sorry, I wonder if he had the knife in his mouth.
Damn it, Ben.
That was the only thing that was going through my head was, I know he's got two hands, and he was driving, but did he hold it in his mouth?
And he could still speak perfectly fine. You could understand him completely.
Oh my word!
As
long as you're good. As long as you're good.
Yo, I'm good. I feel better. Shannon's a little shaken up still, so she's still buying stuff. I say, "Go ahead, continue to buy stuff," but she was shaking because she can't believe the girl did this to her. Like, I thought, and I have a vibe. I don't trust certain people the way that, based off, personality wise, of when I meet them. I personally installed a camera before Shannon got acquainted with them, so I knew if something happened like this, then we'd be prepared. So I've been preparing for this because there's always some type of jealous people who jealous certain people, and with Shannon, everyone is her. So I was waiting for this. So she enjoyed her time in Jamaica. We had fun.
But did you carry the knife in your mouth?
No, Ben, I did not carry the knife in my mouth. So while in Jamaica, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have to ask some stuff." So Ben said, "Hi," and she said, "Hi."
Yes.
Neil said 3. I kept saying 3. 3, 3, 3. What do you mean by 3? I said, no, just think back at the number 3. And she's thinking. She said, oh, Neil. I said, yes. So she's like, I'm told her, why is Neil 3? And I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can from her point of view. Neil is 3 because of your accent.
I knew it.
Let me explain. Ben is first because of his accent, and he's nice to me.
Yeah.
Neil is 3 because of his accent, but he's mean to me. And though she likes both accents, she didn't want to put Ben first or 2. So that's why Tim is 2 as a buffer zone to keep them separated.
Oh, I'm the filler. I'm the filler vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Voice maker.
You're the Carlet of the anime podcast.
So then Klaus is 4 because he's new, and she feels that he's gonna take Neil's spot soon to make him 3. And then Chris and Gary, she called them the asshole duos because they're a pair and they need to be together. That's why they're both 5. So
Well, you know, asses have 2 cheeks. You can't make it an ass out of a pair.
that's her explanation.
Oh my god, brilliant.
Well, this is association because I'm an asshole. Essentially what it is.
Yeah, see, I'm not the only one that thinks so, Gary, and I'm right there with you. You're stuck
That's
with
because you
me.
make me look that way.
I do no such thing. You do it all on your own.
I mean, Gary, to be fair, even before Chris came along, we had these moments.
As
Seriously?
for the rest, Tim, I told her that you said you're glad that you got to Chicago safely. She said thank you for your best wishes. As for Gary, you said you're not going to say nothing. She said at this moment it doesn't matter because you're now good in her book. So yeah, and that was it.
I'm no good to what?
No,
She
you're
said
good.
you're now good in her book.
All I know is she said hi back, so I'm happy.
I honestly think you misheard her, and she said no good.
That's what I thought.
Probably. That's some shit there, Fonzie. I'm
Yeah, that
glad
was
you
crazy.
guys are all right. And
Honestly, I wanted to kill the dude, but that was going too far. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we definitely wouldn't be talking about it right now.
No, I would have to press the stop button on this podcast.
I mean, in the sense of, well, Alfonso, you're trying to kill yourself after telling us all this. Or
I
we
want to
can be
kill
here.
y'all.
I'll be fine as long as he carries a knife in his mouth.
Why?
Oh my god.
Why?
I know.
I don't want to be Zorro.
I'm scared.
Anyway,
Zoro is the only good One Piece character. I would want to be him.
now, Ben, I know you said that this week's My Hero Academia was really good, yeah?
Yeah.
But is it good enough to top that?
I don't think anything's good enough to top that. I think that's its own anime.
Yeah, it was at least in keeping, I suppose. Just watch out when that guy comes back in his Super Saiyan form, though. Yeah.
I could see Fonzie going Super Saiyan.
No, y'all don't know. I have a lot of built-up anger.
Super Saiyan Rage.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Super Saiyan.
It's probably all the E numbers from the ketchup.
I'm reminded of
Super Saiyan Red because of the ketchup.
Confirms ketchup makes you a Saiyan.
A slaying Saiyan. Well, yeah, so, My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
What happened, Ben?
Oh, am I talking about it? Okay.
You're one of the people that watched it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Oh, I'm trying to remember it now. I've watched it like 3 times.
wow.
It was very action heavy. That was the problem.
So, just to clarify, it was really good this week, but you had to watch it 3 times, and you're still not sure if it was good.
No, it was really good.
so
but
it was extremely action packed. There's
Yeah.
a lot to remember, and I'm trying to remember all as well.
Didn't start off with them going to the warehouse. They was actually tracking the location.
Yeah, and then they had the continued the police reports, and then we had my favorite part of the entire episode, even though it's probably the most boring part for most people, but for me it was probably my favorite part. Right after they "Oh, a pizza delivery from the pizza place."
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly all the heroes bust through. Like the villains thought they actually ordered pizza. Yeah, they were actually expecting pizza to turn up for some reason.
Maybe they did, and it wasn't shown on the screen.
I'm starting to be... Was I there?
Wait, Ben, you skipping a part first before that.
Oh, yeah.
So they go to the location, but they're trying to figure out how to infiltrate it.
Oh, yeah.
So they decide to go around back, and then they decide to look in, and they found out that it was a warehouse full of
Nomus.
Nomus.
Yeah.
And then you could go to your part. Yeah.
Yeah, warehouse full of Nomus. And, yeah, that was crazy, seeing all those Nomus. And to be honest, I was expecting something stupid, like, oh, look at that porn mag that's on the floor. You know, the way you reacted. I didn't expect it to be serious with, like, a load of Nomus.
But the heroes already knew because
they
took out the facility.
Oh, yeah, they already knew about all of it. Because the police had done research on it and knew about all the different hides.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they knew about this place because of the tracker that that Momo had placed, but they knew that it was a different building than where the hideout was because they saw that Dabi walk into the other building, and that's where half of the heroes went there, and then the other half of the heroes with the police went to the Nomu warehouse where all the kids were.
And the kids decided that it wasn't a good idea to get involved, so they started walking off later on. But we got to see some of the heroes actually get some action. That's why I like this episode, because all the heroes got a moment to shine. Yeah, they all got to show off their cool, like, quirks. Like the tree guy, he was cool.
I liked Mount Lady putting the truck on as a slipper and smashing the building.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
What's the other guy that anticipated the dude the Warp Gate dude? I don't know that hero's name.
That ninja guy.
Yeah, that ninja guy.
Yeah. I wondered what that was. I thought the villains were actually doing something until he appeared. I was like, oh my god, what are the villains doing to get out of this? And then realised it was just a ninja guy. Yeah, it was just stopped him from warping, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name. The guy that has the decay quirk power.
Chris? Do you know?
That had the witch quirk power?
The one where he could decay people.
The main villain.
Tomura Shigaraki, the main villain. Facepalm.
Yeah, so he gets upset that his plan is, they got caught and it fell, but he's saying that it's not over. And he's calling Master, and then all of a sudden, all these Nomus come out of nowhere. And the Nomus started warping through, but then Bakugo, he gets warped again. And All Might gets upset that he couldn't save him.
Yeah. We'll know who walked them out in the end. Well, we'll do all along, really.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he's already in the field.
Well, apparently he was sitting in the warehouse with all the Nomus.
Yeah. So.
And then when he comes out of the shadows, and the Genus tries to hold him with his fabric powers, and that didn't go so well, did it?
No, it didn't go well at all. No, I like the Genus. He's pretty cool, actually. I liked how he kept all the Nomus at bay. That was interesting.
He essentially just tied him up.
Yeah.
Like you guys, I really enjoyed this episode as well. It had a slow kind of build up to it, where they're trying to, they're still having those interviews with the principal of the school and Eraserhead, who I'm really surprised wasn't in the field with them. It's interesting because I sit here and I wonder, like, did Eraserhead's quirk affect All Might, or
it doesn't affect certain quirks from what we can tell? Like
actually, I think it would, because it did affect
the Nomu.
Midoriya.
Yeah, Midoriya's got affected as well. Remember?
Yeah, so you would think bringing him along would have been essential to what they're planning.
Oh, you were thinking that maybe it could have stopped All for One?
Yeah.
I don't think it could stop something like that because I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm wondering.
Has all the
Multiple powers.
Yeah.
You can only stop one power at a time.
Yeah.
So, but didn't All Might get his power from him? All for One had it, and then he gave it to All Might.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what are the multiple powers that he has?
Yes, he drains persons. All for One drains people's powers.
So that's essentially his power.
Yeah.
If he stops that power, he loses control of all the other powers.
No, I don't think so.
I would doubt that as well.
And for one thing, it doesn't really affect Eraser's Head's ability doesn't really affect powers that mutate you. So the reason why it affected Midori is because he doesn't use it the same way as All Might does. Yeah. I think All Might would have been hit by Eraser's Head's thing because his quirk is a mutation, body mutation instead of just a normal quirk. Because, if he had used it on like when he tried to use it on Nomu, the Nomu still kicked his ass. Because his quirk wasn't just the fact that he was really strong anyway, so.
Yeah, they have multiple powers as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he may have stopped one power, but not another one.
Yeah.
We know he can stop multiple people's powers at the same time, but I am imagine that in this case, All for One is beyond any way that he could stop him.
Well, see, that's the thing. We don't really know much about him still. He's still a huge mystery.
And I'm going to say this. I think one of another reasons why he wasn't there was because it would have been less of a ruse. Because by having all the teachers at the conference that were at the training camp shows that it makes it look like that they're just focused on the media right now.
Yeah, because I mean, all of this was happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't get that part.
Yeah, everything
they were
that we
watching
saw.
that live.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, because it looked like they were doing the press conference in the daytime, and then they kept cutting to nighttime, which is when the thing was taking place.
No, it was indoors.
Yeah, it was indoors.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were watching it live in the villain's hideout when they were making Bakugo watch that announcement.
I think the conference ended before they attacked, but it was right before. Literally, the conference ended, and then as that ended, they attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but like you guys said, the ending was a very big surprise because clearly now we know there's more than one Nomu factory. Because where did all these other Nomus come from?
Well, we knew that already because they said when he asked for more, they said, "Oh yeah, we haven't perfected them. Well, here, have 5." I think it was. So.
When was this?
Yeah, when he attacked the training. Was it when he attacked the
It was before the stain.
Yeah.
It was before the stain incident when he goes into the city with those couple to cause the chaos.
Yeah, he asked his All for One if he could have some more Nomus, and he's like, "Nah, you can have a couple."
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean there's more than one facility. The way they made it out to be that all the Nomus were housed at one facility.
I mean, he's lived for
They
so
never
many
specifically
years.
said there's multiple facilities.
He's lived for so long, I'm sure the guy should be smart enough to realise not to put all his eggs in one basket. But then he is an anime villain, so I might
Well,
it's a really
I'm
nice
just saying
basket.
it's not something they said, something obviously now we can assume was the thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this probably was one of my favourite episodes, though. I think next week's going to top it, depending on how it goes. It's going to be interesting.
Perhaps. We should talk about whether all those guys are dead now, though.
What do you mean?
Mount Lady, Genist, who else
The
was there?
shark dude. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Orca. Yep.
All the SWAT team, like, are they dead? Because that's what it seems like.
They're going to die. I'm sure they're going to die.
Gonna, or are they already dead?
I don't think they're dead, are they? I didn't see that part.
You didn't see anything. It was
They
just
didn't show anything. They
the
just showed
whole-
him standing on top of a bunch of rubble.
He was floating, dude. He was like floating midair, like superpowered, like he had just like wasted that.
No,
whole
but no,
same
they
block.
did show the one scene with a whole bunch of dead bodies,
Yeah, right at the end.
but they cut it really fast.
Yeah.
So
Were they dead or were they just knocked out from the force?
I don't know. There's blood everywhere, so I'm assuming they're dead.
But then they also said that if you keep watching, it says that they saw a scene of their deaths. So whether that's actually what's them dying, or if it's just like a premonition or whatever.
Well, again, when did this happen?
At the end of the episode.
At the end of the episode.
Because
Yeah,
all the
Midoriya
kids
was talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the kids were basically just frozen in fear
Yeah.
behind that wall, and they said they saw a premonition of their own deaths, and that was a pretty bloody scene there, but it was just in their heads.
Yeah. It's like
I gotta
don't
watch
know
it.
if you.
I'm taking things completely different direction than where you guys are taking it from.
Like remember when
I
they,
assume their premonition was they saw all these people die, and now they're pretty much guaranteed to die because if these heroes can't stop them, they don't stand a chance. That's what I took as a premonition, not them magically seeing their future.
Well, not the fact they see their
I
future.
think
The
it's both.
presence of All for One is what makes them see it, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just having his presence near them sees their death. Like if you ever watched the original series of Naruto, when Sakura
So
gets scared because
They just
she's-
randomly throw out another power that he has. He can make people see their futures.
No, he's not. He can't. They're not actually seeing the future. It's just that his presence makes them fear for their life.
Yeah, that.
Like when Frieza releases a bunch of energy,
Yeah,
and it makes Krillin and Gohan all scared.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
yeah, but you made it sound like they're actually dead.
No, everybody else is dead. Not the four of them. Not the four kids. Everybody else.
We'll find out next week.
I'm just really confused with the information being conveyed here between us and what we saw.
I don't know what to say. It made sense to me.
Yeah.
All for One comes out. We don't know if the main heroes are alive or dead, but All for One, the other kids, they can fizz power emanating from him because All for One has so many different powers. If you have super speed, super strength, can throw fireballs, turn everything into a vast wasteland, like all of those powers, he's definitely the main villain, and him just coming out and like blowing away that.
Apologies there, we did lose a tiny bit at the end of the My Hero Academia talk, but we did cover pretty much everything we want to, and much of it will probably be coming up again next week with the continuation of that. But anyway, we shall move on to Boruto. Faust is going to bring us up to speed with what's happened on this week's.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot that happened in the semifinals of the Chunin exam. Ben, what did you think of the fights that we got on this week's episode?
I thought the fight against Usarada was my favourite. I wasn't expecting the Puppet Master sort of twist.
Spoilers! But yeah, the enemy that she was facing, Araya, he seemed like he was like really technical and was able to move extremely fast and could even avoid genjutsu. That's when Sarah put two and two together and remembered that the Hidden Sand Village has puppet users. So she sends a lightning blast at her enemy, who dodges, but then it goes up into the stands and it takes out a big chunk of the ceiling overhead, revealing that her opponent has been up there the time.
Yep. And I found it funny they talked about the rules afterwards, like, well, it's a disqualification if you leave the arena. And Shikamaru was like, well, if you didn't enter the arena, technically you're not disqualified.
So he got him on a little bit of a technicality. So they continue the fight. And apparently Araya is not as confident when he has been exposed to be the puppet master like that. And she basically ends the match by shooting a giant fireball at the puppet, and Sarada moves on.
Yeah.
And then we get the match we were all looking forward to, Shinki versus Mitsuki. And that was a match.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
Shinki, the Iron Sand user, and Mitsuki, the spawn of Orochimaru can use multiple different types of jutsus. Wind, I think mainly wind, but also can use some lightning style, which ends up being extremely useful against the Iron Sand.
Yep, I like the when he went underground though. That was pretty cool. The fact that he's using his snake jutsus as well.
Yep, it made a snake clone while he was hiding underground, a la Naruto from the original Chunin exam. Remember that bit?
Oh yeah, I remember that where he hid this shadow underground because wasn't it Sasuke's Sharingan?
No, it was against Neji.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was it because Neji's Bakugan. That was it.
Yes, yeah, that was a nice little throwback there, but ended up being that it was just an iron clone.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist. I like that.
Lots of different types of clones in the Naruto universe.
Yeah,
that makes sense, I guess. But
because Gaara had the sand clone, so
yeah, all the clones all the time.
Yeah,
but basically, Shinki was basically trying to force Mitsuki into using his Sage mode, and he wasn't going to have it, so he goes,
yeah,
and
I wonder if he would have won if he'd been able to use it.
I don't know. That's a good question because Shinki made it sound like he wasn't using his full power either.
No.
Which means they're gonna have a time, Boruto and Sarada against Shinki in the finals next week.
But they are teaming up, so.
Yep, they showed that they talked about it. They're going to team up against Shinki to start with, at least, and they'll figure out how they fight it out afterwards, if they can survive.
Oh.
But it's going to be interesting now that Boruto is not going to be, one-on-one with somebody.
Yeah.
Is he going to be wearing the that scientific tool?
Computer says yes, probably.
Yeah, again, I'm hoping no, but storyline's probably going to say he's going to, and so we'll see what comes of all that. Sarada's probably going to kick his ass, but like I said, that's all speculation. It's what we're going to see next week.
But yeah, this week's was good.
Another really good episode.
Yeah, I like the fact that it made the Shikadai's team, Inojin and.
Oh, and they went to the barbecue place?
Yeah, how they want to go and train harder for the next Chunin exam. It inspired them to all their teachers' money on food. Yep,
and it's inspired Inojin to order while Chocho and Shikadai were talking to their teacher, and he ordered all the expensive cuts of meat.
Oh, they should have known by now that was going to happen. Sorry, you bring one of Choji's family into a food place.
But it wasn't Chocho that did it, though.
No, but Inojin probably knows how much Chocho eats. So.
You're not wrong, but it was kind of funny, and like I said, I'm enjoying this particular story arc. I want to see how the tournament finishes. I'm betting it's going to be a couple episodes before we get
I hope they don't rush it. I hope we do get the finals and they don't sort of do what the movie did and did what the original series of just like, oh no, the finals happening. Oh no, something's happened and the villains are here now.
Cue the side, the main mission, the main story change, blah blah blah. The twist.
Yeah, the twist.
Plot twist.
What twist? But yeah, Boruto was good.
Yes, I agree. We got an episode that didn't have that stupid tool in it.
Which is even better because that tool is stupid.
Cheater no jutsu.
Yeah. Hack no jutsu.
Splendid. So, I suppose that means we move on to our choices, our picks, our general things we got given. Alfonso, as explained, did not get to watch his, so...
I'm sad.
His life became an anime, so it's fine.
Trust me, Klaus, I will... As soon as we're done...
Oh, before we start, can I ask...
Most of it. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Can I ask, what did you think that figure I bought?
I was shocked when you tweet me that they make those. that particular figure, I was shocked. I was like, in that time, it was the complication that I was dealing with was mostly over. So I was like wondering when has Ben bought it, because I was like, tweet me. And then when I actually saw it, I was like, wow, I never expect them to make that. I mean, it's interesting.
Do I dare ask what it is?
I'll put the picture on Skype if you want.
So it's problematic.
No, it's not problematic. Remember that anime I suggested to him about the cat that lives a banana?
Oh, okay.
I found when I went to the game, like a couple of days later, I found out they had figures based.
Oh yeah, I remember you tweeted that a while back, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that now.
So the funny thing is, I showed my sister because she likes cats.
Yeah.
And now she wants me to find where to get it. It's like, I don't know where to get this. I GameStop don't sell this.
They literally only. That was the only one they got.
Well, check Amazon. I'm sure they have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon has everything.
Let me send you an affiliate link.
Do we have one of those?
No, but I do.
But yeah, next week when I got a bit more money, I'm going to go buy the other figure because I've got two.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. So, I know you just talked a bunch, Ben, but as we decided alphabetically this week, you are next on the list. So, Ben, what were you given to watch?
I couldn't remember, but I knew we were talking about Butler X Battlers, so I ended up watching that.
That was definitely mentioned, yes. So.
No, I can remember if it was Paris, because I tried to look it up again on my phone and it wouldn't pop up. I thought it was something like Parasite or Battler vs X Butlers. I could pick one of them, if I'm rightly. So I decided to go with the Butler X Butler. It was interesting. I mean, it definitely was what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting more actual butlering, not like detective work and cafes. I was expecting more butlers.
You wanted more Sebastian?
Yeah.
You can never have enough Sebastian.
That's true. Or you could have gotten maybe the robotic ones from. Anyway.
But yeah, I really enjoyed what I watched. I watched all the way up to episode 8, I think it was, which is the last one on Crunchyroll. If they're going to add any more, or if it's just like a week, I think that's it. I enjoyed episode 4 the most because I always like ones that involve festivals. So, and the fact that the little cafe shop was kind of cute. So I like that. And having people dress up, because I would totally dress up as a butler and I would be like super cute. Not really, I'm ugly as sin, but still.
Well, you do it in game all the time, Ben.
I do dress up in game all the time.
In every game.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, I would recommend this series. There's not much to say. It was about butlers, but
and they battled.
And they battled occasionally. Not enough battling for my liking, to be honest, considering the fact that it's in the name. I would have liked a bit more battling.
Yeah, but for butlers, it's never going to be much, surely. It's
mean,
just more than
and
the
none
average
of them were wielding like teacups. That was not good.
How can you call yourself a butler if you weren't wielding a teacup?
Did anyone get locked in a fridge? That's the question.
I don't think anyone got locked in the fridge. Did they? I can't remember. Did anyone get locked in the fridge? I missed that part.
I don't know. I just asked.
I can't remember either. It's been a while since I've seen it, so it's kind of blurry.
It was good though. I would recommend it for people.
Good stuff. So, in the spirit of alphabetical order, Chris.
Yes. So I tried to watch the anime that you assigned to me 2 weeks ago, and much like Kaiji, I could not get into this one either. The anime is called Valkyrie Romance, or however the hell they want to say it. It's spelled really weird. It's basically a show about jousting.
Yeah.
And I first watched this, and I'm just like, within the first episode, this feels like an uncomfortably girly anime, like even more girly than I can stand, and it really is. It's but here, I don't know what they were going for with this, because it's this. How can I even put this? You think jousting, you think medieval. You start watching it, and you're like, okay, it's in medieval times, and then all of a sudden, like they have like, you know, lens crafters glasses and tablets, and I'm just like, wait, this is like the medieval? No, it's modern era. And then I realized exactly what it is. It's a modern era school in Europe that only the most rich of the rich can send their kids to, because these people make like in this school, it's the main fucking sport is jousting. So this is no fucking lacrosse team. They're jousting with real metal armor. They have like the fanciest like clothing on you can imagine. It all looks like balls from a military, like really like cadet stylized horses. The glighters are the guys that assist the knight, and they kind of like act like a second in a boxing match to the boxer.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is the setting that it's in, and already I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'll try and get past the insanely unaffordable prep school setting to see how this is. And admittedly, like when they talk about the jousting, it gets pretty interesting. Like it gets me. I got excited to watch something about jousting again, like I haven't been since A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. And then once I finished an episode, my interest really gone again, much like A Knight's Tale. But the thing is, the reason I don't know who the hell they're catering this to is because it's really girly. It's like super, super girly, and they have the handsome, like the main character is one of the males that, her name's Mio. She's the pink-haired one, so obviously she's the main character.
Naturally, yeah.
Naturally. Her lover, or the guy that she really likes, is a former knight. He became a beglighter. They're like 17 at this point, I think, like at this prep school or whatever the fuck they're doing. And then it's just panty and boob shots the whole time. Oh. And it's just like, it has like all the girly music, the sparklies, everything. It's like, you know how Inuyasha basically Dragon Ball for girls at its time? This is what this is. This is like jousting, but it's so frilly. It's so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like girly animes, but it's just so frilly. Like I can't fucking do it. And then panty shots everywhere. So many fucking panty shots all over. Like the girl like loses balance of the lance, and it basically like she starts falling forward, and she falls forward for half a city mile with this thing with the lance, and like she runs by a group of girls and she's swinging it around because she can't balance it. And, like, the wind is, like, making all the panties, all the skirts fly up so you can see all the panties. And then it goes back to weird. Oh, even better. The innuendo is even better in this. There are scenes where they're like, she's bending over. She's like, no, I can't. Stop. It's too hard. Oh, the guys behind her, like, you can see their shadows. And he's, like, behind her saying, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting you to be this tight. And then the teacher comes from behind me and you hear, oh, let me give it a try. And then they're both, like, you see their shadows, like, what the fuck are they doing? They're, like, double-teaming this girl. And
then this sound like the best anime yet. I like it.
And, well, yeah, and then when it comes back, they're, like, actually we're trying to fit the knight's armor on her. Every episode has, like, one of those Austin Powers moments where she's, like, talking about, like, gripping the shaft properly and that, and taking it next to her body, and they're talking about, like, when he's trying to train her to use the lance. Like, that's what this show is. That's basically what the show is, and I have no idea who the audience was intended for. And it's really not bad. In fact, the best thing about it is the 3D animation. You know how sometimes when animators use 3D animation, it looks really, really bad on top of the 2D, like the Seven Samurai and Berserk. These guys, they actually, I'm not sure what studio I can't remember. But they actually did a really good job with the 3D animation, because all the jousting, they're able to do these like Matrix style, you know, circle around them while the action is happening in slow mo, and you can see what like the lance is doing and how she's dodging it and how she's aiming up her shot for the other one, and then she takes it. Like they do that all in 3D. No, she takes it. Like she takes it hard. They do all that in 3D, and it looks good. It looks very close to kind of how we like the Arc System works, like Dragon Ball's Fighters and Guilty Gear, like that kind of 3D, but it actually looks really, really good. Like, so that was impressive. And don't get me wrong, like all the sex jokes and things like that are absolutely hilarious. But like I said, it's really weird to have it be this, kind of frilly and bubbly and J-poppy about these spoiled prep school students while millions of other kids are starving in other countries. But hey, as long as we get jousting and I can get the guy of my dreams. Yeah, I was watching Dynasty. It was like watching rich people have their problems, and I felt sick with myself. And I'm just like, I need to go watch an anime about a poor sod struggling in a cruel world. Like, I can't watch this fucking anime for too long. It feels like a soap opera. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. 7 out of 10.
That's a fairly high score. Can't go wrong. Yeah. Okay.
It was the panty shots that did it for him.
The panty shots added like points, admittedly. But and at the end of every episode, they do have like where they teach you how jousting works. Like one of the cute little cutout scenes that's not animated very well. So that was also very fun. That I liked watching those.
Graph joust really tightly.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing about sports anime is that it seems to show how the sport works nicely. I found that with All Out. It explained rugby better than any person who's a rugby player ever explained it. Nice. And yeah, I found it again with the boxing one as well. It's so much terminology, not just about the way the fights go, but also about the injuries that you can get, and it's fascinating. There's much focus is placed on that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is. You say just happens to be intersped with pants. So. Yeah,
I would have appreciated it more if it were more like Knight's Tale set in like an actual medieval time in an old European village, not fucking prep kids can afford, $100,000 jousting armor. Like, I don't know, just the setting really didn't do it for me of that story, but I would have appreciated it in other ways.
So that brings us to Gary.
Yes, I am still here.
Yeah, and we want you to talk about what you got picked.
I got picked 91 Days by you,
yes.
Sir Neil. This has probably been my favorite anime since we started doing this. Tim and Chris know how I feel about a lot of animes, and I'll tell you guys now where I mostly feel anime has become so similar and so stagnant lately that I feel like it's the same characters just traveling to different worlds and doing the same thing. And this anime was such a fantastic breath of fresh air. I mean, it's not fantasy, it's not random freaking what's it called? God damn it! Now I lost the word. Harem. It has none of those things. It's a serious anime about the mafia, and it essentially. I don't know why it's called 91 Days because the story takes place within a 12-day period, and it tells you that at the start of every episode. It's like day 7. But pretty much what it is it tells the story of this kid whose family was murdered by the Venetti family. And the Venetti family, they were subordinates of their Don, and they killed him because they thought he was killing the family that they were a part of with his decisions and stuff. So they killed him, and they went to, I believe it's a doctor and his family because they're looking for a ledger, and he kept this ledger from what I understood was like all the that they had, all the people they made bribes with and everything like that. And when he refused to give them that ledger, they killed him. They killed his wife and his son, but their other son was the one who survived. And he got away, and one of the Venetti family members could have killed the son as he was running away from the house. He purposely missed because he didn't feel comfortable killing the child. And it takes place after that, 7 years after that happened, where he's now a teenager, and he receives a letter. It's the boy that got it. He receives a letter naming all the people that killed his family. And there's even a picture of his little brother that was in their house, so he would know that that's a legitimate letter. So he gets this letter, and he decides to essentially plan his revenge. And it's this fantastic story of how he plans it out and how he manipulates everybody into believing him. Like, he gets in with family, he earns their trust, and he starts taking them out one by one and manipulating it so they think other mob families have done it. So the story itself, it takes place in, I believe, fictional. Fictional, yes. I couldn't figure out what the word was. A fictional city called Lawless, but it is in America, and it takes place during Prohibition. And Prohibition played a huge role because that's how they get in with the family. Him and his best friend, who he ran to after his family was murdered, they're obviously now grown up. His best friend has created a new moonshine. And it's so good that he realizes that this is his way of getting in with the family now, is this moonshine. So he goes to a specific bar that he knows the family members hang out with, and he tries to sell it to them. And a whole bunch of stuff happens, and essentially the story is between three mafia families: the Venetti family, the Orca family, and I believe it's called the Lagusa family.
Wait,
so
what was
those
the
are
first family?
The Venetti family.
Isn't that like vegetable spaghetti?
I don't know. God damn it.
Yes, Ben. Yes, Ben. That is what it is. Yes.
I thought so.
Anyhow, the Lagusa family is the biggest family. They run the city of Chicago. And the Venetti and the Orcas are essentially like beneath them, and they answer to them. So, as you know, our main character, I don't remember what his name is. Let me see. Avilio is his name. Avilio, he gets in with the Venetti family, and he meets all the people that murdered his family. And he's not just going to start shooting them. He starts to act out this huge plan that he's come up with. So he starts pitting the families against each other by doing specific things. I really don't want to spoil a lot of it because it's so well done that it really needs to be like, if you're into like the mafias and that type of a setting and that type of a story, I 100% recommend it. It's not the Godfather storytelling, obviously, but it's really, really good. And there are some things that kind of just fall into place perfectly, which is very anime-like. And the main character, Avilio, he's very broody, and he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And like, if you're watching the dub version, which I recommend that you do, everybody speaks in an accent, like the old, well, not the old, like a Brooklyn or New York accent. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, speak with that kind of accent. And some of them have an Italian accent, like, but they all have it. It took a while to get used to, but once I did, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's so good, and you get attached to so many characters, and you start to see the story from their point of view, especially the Venetti family and why they killed his dad and stuff like that. And you really start to feel for a lot of them. Yeah. And there's so much bloodshed, much sadness that goes throughout the whole story, and the ending itself is so fucking good. I can't recommend the story enough for its ending, because it's not an ending that I guess you would expect. And yeah, like I can't recommend this enough. This is easily like a 10 out of 10 for me. If you're into that stuff, I highly recommend you watch it. It's very, very well done. very well done anime. Such a great breath of fresh air when it comes to anime for me. Thank you for that recommendation.
Splendid. That's good.
Nice.
Good to hear. So we move on to Klaus.
And in true Ben fashion, he another fan service style anime.
No, surely
Well,
not.
you know, it couldn't have told by the title. Is it right to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? So
The answer is, of course, always yes.
no, actually, it's not. And this actually was a pretty good anime. Amazingly, this one would not have been liked by Gary, I'm sure, because he doesn't like the ones with the harems and things and with all the panty shots, apparently. But
I never said I don't like those.
He's just tired of them.
Nobody can ever top Ryoko for Gary again, so he's given up.
Nobody can top Rick. He's the number one waifu.
But this was a very interesting anime. If you think about a lot of the new style animes coming out, you know, one of the big ones that came out in the past few years was like Sword Art Online. You know, the big MMO style anime. This is very similar to that, except for the fact that it's not in a game. This is their real life. This is about a world where a bunch of people basically work for gods and goddesses. The gods and goddesses came down to Earth and basically gave up their divine powers to be with people, and instead they give their blessing to certain people who and become part of their familia, and then explore this giant dungeon in this town. Sounds odd, I know, but it goes into it. We start the main character, Bel Cranel. He is a part of the Familia Hestia, and is the only member of Hestia's group. And Hestia is a very interesting goddess. Basically, she's, you know, like a Lolita style, you know, young girl, big boobs, and fawns all over Belle.
Hang on.
Yes, it gets problematic, but not quite that bad.
Still, yeah, we had to slap that stick on somewhere. One of the last things that Bell remembers was from his late grandfather before he passed. Big piece of advice he was given was to find a woman, you know, that, you know, to save a woman in a dungeon and, you know, have her basically fawn all over him. And that's why you search the dungeons. It's not for all the riches. It's not for all the accolades. It's to find the woman of your dreams. And he takes that to heart, and he starts becoming an adventurer. Just a level 1, working in the first few levels of this dungeon. And for some reason, he gets down a little bit too far from where he should be, and he encounters a very high-level Minotaur. And he is backed into a corner when he is inexplicably saved by this beautiful blonde-haired sword princess. And he is, you know, he gets covered in blood, in this Minotaur's blood after she slays him. And he's all like, whoa! And then he looks up. She looks at him. He gets all embarrassed, and he runs out of the dungeon and just runs out and through the town, and kind of just makes kind of a whole scene. And he gets known as the tomato because he's streaking through the streets blood red. And it's so people recognize him as that. But a cool thing in this particular anime is they actually level up, and their gods or goddesses can check their stats. They do that by etching this intricate tattoo on their backs. And Hestia notices that Belle has been leveling up quite a bit since this last encounter, and
is getting much stronger, much faster than he really should be.
He found that exploit.
Found hacks. But
he found that quest, that repeatable quest that gives bonus XP.
No, he ended up developing a very rare skill that basically, as long as he is in love with this woman who saved his life, he is a bonus to his stats.
Oh, he maxed out his relationship. Okay. I'll shut up now.
His charisma stat is through the roof. But she doesn't tell him that because it's a weird skill that nobody has seen it, and she's afraid that if anybody finds out about it, they're going to try and take him away from her familia, and then she's going to be left without anybody. So she's kind of holding on to that. Anyway, the story continues to proceed. He keeps working in the dungeon really hard to try and gather up enough loot to keep the familia going. Even the goddess Hestia works a job to try and keep things going. It's just the two of them. They're in a pretty run-down old church. They live in the basement of it, and she's always trying to hit on him, and he's just kind of dense. He's kind of dense about a lot of things. It seems like every female character that Belle runs into starts to kind of fawn a little bit over him. And he just kind of continues to play the role of the dumb, innocent guy. So it's got that same type of trope where, the main character is kind of oblivious to all of that, but he's wanted by all of the women. And like I said, this one is no different on that. But where it really gets interesting is it also, he has a work ethic that really starts to rub off on a lot of people, but also rubs people the wrong way. The people who have been doing this for a very long time, they see that he is advancing really fast, and he's having what they see as an easier time of it, even though he's working really hard to do it. It rubs them the wrong way, and they end up trying to basically hurt him or take advantage of him, and has to deal with all of that as well. And what's really interesting about this entire series, I'm going to kind of try and summarize it here without giving away any major plot points, but it's a very interesting retelling of a lot of different types of pantheons. There's a lot of Greek gods within this, but I noticed there's also some Japanese gods, and there's a number of different gods of in this that are represented. So it's kind of cool. I mean, we even see some Norse gods with Loki, but so it's like if all of the gods from all the different religions all kind of came down to one area and decided to hang out and have a big party and then invite people to work for them. That's basically what we would get here. And it's a lot of fun to watch. And the story at the end, like I said, it's a retelling of some really classic style stories from back in old Greek, Homer style stories. So I think if you really enjoy the thing, you would really enjoy this anime. Plus, it's like I said, it's got some fan service, and it's got, a lot of that fun stuff too.
Fantastic.
Wow, nice.
Good stuff.
I was surprised, and actually it's like they're getting a second season here pretty soon as well.
Yay!
And cool.
So like I said, that's called "Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?" Or you might actually find it easier by its nickname Danmachi.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's got a really, really long Japanese name, and just shorten it to Danmachi instead.
Okay, that brings it to me then. I got from Tim Hajime no Ippo, The Fighting Rising, which is apparently the third season of this particular anime, but they are standalone to a fairly large degree. It's a boxing sports anime, which is wheelhouse of my dreams. This is if any sport is perfect for an anime adaptation, if it's not wrestling, it's boxing. And boy, yes, it works really well. Yeah, I found it's unreal how well it works. Ippo is the protagonist of this whole thing. He's trained all his life to become a boxer. You know, from a young age, he was bullied. He got taken to a gym after being beaten up and was inspired to become a boxer. And of course, in proper anime tradition, he has a really strong punch despite being raw, and that takes him on to become something of a great. But and he has his special moves and such as the Dempsey roll. But basically, he bobs and weaves in an infinity sign sort of way, and because apparently that works. But the fights are really well done. I mean, the animation is very limited on it. It's a lot of like still frames with like just whooshing across. That you can see where budget cuts have definitely been taken on that, but it works with what they're doing. They're just sort of a little flurry of action, a slow-mo drag across a still screen as the commentators, which is the best thing about the fights, is the commentators are then just sort of describing what's happening, both in terms of what kind of punch they're going for, what tactics are being employed, and what possible injuries they're suffering from the fight. And yeah, it's like, if you imagine, like most animes where there are fight scenes, say Dragon Balls or My Hero Academia, it's very much you're seeing what is happening on screen. Someone will usually chime in with like going, "Oh wow, he's doing that move," blah blah blah, like in a very action-heavy sort of way. Here, they have the commentators doing all that in a very natural way, because boxing has commentators and it fits. And yeah, it really adds to fights, adds to the drama and to the tension. They're way over the top. They're not proper boxing fights. This is like Rocky, the anime in that regard. It is just like people belting the shit out of each other until someone gets to do their special. Someone will actually over the course of each fight block Ippo's special, and he'll have to find another way around it, which usually involves getting beat up for a bit, coming back, and then just belting them with a special move again, and it works essentially. Yeah, I mean, in general ideas terms, it's your very usual sort of anime tropes, but I like it's enjoyable for what it does. I like it, as I said, because it feels like a anime. It works really well because it's just that over dramatized version of a sport, and fighting is one of the things that animes get done very well, and it's no different here. In between the fights, there's a lot of backstory on his childhood. This one like shows his father's sacrifice because he was a fisherman, and it seems to be a common theme about some of that. I mean, the first few episodes, the first fight in this season is on a submarine, of course. Which leads into them getting very short of breath a lot easier because of the depth they're at. And yeah, it's just there's a lovely little novel twist on it, and I can't fault it for that. But yeah, at the same time, it's very much like most anime in the way it sort of goes about. So, good 7 out of 10.
Yay. What the hell was those sound effects?
What sound effects?
Somebody's baby monitor was going off.
Yeah, that was mine, I'm afraid. Sorry. She is being the monumental pain in the ass.
Oh, so that was it. All I heard was beep and then some sort of horror movie.
I will have to leave the rest of the podcast in your hands, guys. So
all right.
Someone else will have to take on the hosting mantle because I had to get up. Yeah, I had to get up repeatedly during this podcast, and luckily that's worked a few times, but probably not much longer. Tim is the next to go, though, so I will introduce Tim's segment and then leave it in the hands of Ben. So thank you, everyone, for listening.
Guys, I'm in charge now.
Uh-oh.
There goes the neighborhood.
Just slapping some problematic stickers just to get ready.
Preemptive problematic.
Yeah, before I go.
Yeah.
Later.
See ya.
See you, Neil.
Okay, so the suggestion I had this week was called Blackjack. And unlike its name, it's not a burger. It's about this guy who I feel was inspired by the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera. Because he has part of his face kind of sewn on with some artificial skin. I'm not really sure. And I'm not really sure because the show doesn't really spend a lot of time focusing on Blackjack. And this will be the first piece of media. And I remember asking Gary about this. And I thought maybe since this was a movie, maybe there was a show before it, and all the backstory and things were headed. But no, it's just he just was this hypothetical character. But the premise was very cool. It's this. I would say it's in our time earlier, but it's this almost an outbreak of superhuman people, and not like quirks or powers or anything, but they're just exponentially better at things than the standard person. They can jump higher. Some can jump higher, some can run numbers better and faster. Things like that, and it's very cool because. The premise is very cool in that, right? Because after they kind of reach a fame or break a record, is time they basically perish. Something kicks in them that deteriorates them so greatly and so quickly that they die within hours of this. The bad end of the side effects showing up, and a group of scientists try to get together and try to figure these things out, and Blackjack ends up getting involved. And what's really peculiar is that he's not a doctor, and they mention that over and over and over, but he's still at the very heart and soul of all these medical decisions going on. And I find that a little peculiar, especially since you have with the information you're given, there's not a lot of justification for his ability to be there. And I don't know. I wish that there were more context to him, because he seems interesting and he seems very, very informed. He's very capable, as you can see along the way too, but he can just kind of walk into a high-end surgical theater and just take over. There has to be something missing, and it just doesn't talk about it. It's very frustrating just watching him do whatever he wants. He does it well, and everything just super pristine, and he's super skilled, and it's obvious, but he's not licensed, and I don't know if that's supposed to be like a he's better than that sort of thing or what, but it kind of takes away from what's going on, and the first bit of it is kind of back and forth between him being a mysterious character that nobody really asks about. Everybody kind of just knows, and every time he goes into some place, they kind of just get him, and people seek him out and things like that. And I just wish his premise were more grounded in some way, because the narrative points are very cool, and it'd be cool. It was cool to see him do these things like super intricate procedure. These very touchy surgeries on not the medulla oblongata. I can't think of it. But it was literally they had to separate spheres a bit and get in there and remove this piece that they could barely see. He had this really cool technique to find it. He almost found it by accident, as he said, and it was really where things got super interesting. And I would say, I think that was 40 or 50 minutes in a show that was an hour and a half. So it took a bit, but it really hit a point where it was just everything that was leading up to there. We had a really good point there, and it's incredibly interesting, and you learned a lot about the circumstances behind this. And it's actually a virus that hyper stimulates their brains, and it releases tons of endorphins, massive quantities, making them capable of doing so much more than they would normally be able to do. And it ultimately causes their demise, their body can't handle it. But there's and I don't know how spoiler I want to get with this because it's old. I don't know how many people are. I don't know. It kind of tackles that that, and I won't go into specifics, but it kind of tackles that that sort of like success versus self-sacrifice, like willing to break your own back if you can reach that pinnacle you've been searching for. It kind of touches on it and takes a great twist on things there, because people are perishing and everybody's trying to keep them alive. But I would say it's worth a watch for a lot of things, and that would be one of them. But it's not worth watching for the ending, because you find out. I won't go about too much on the hook, but there's a betrayal and there are things going in, and it ends up just kind of falling flat because I don't know, circumstances get super ramped up, and only half of the people really have to worry about the circumstances. The other ones just kind of don't have to worry about it, let alone much like Blackjack, and he's one of the main ones that really don't have to worry about it. And there's no reason for it. There's no justification. It happens, and yeah, I mean the show had some strong points. It's some very cool ideas, but it just didn't execute in the ways that it should. And if I'm going to put a number on it, I would say I want to say like a strong 5, because it has a lot of good points. It's about half. It's middle ground. It has some strong points, but it misses the mark on a lot of them. And the character doesn't have much to do in terms of like his place in the world. He just kind of seems like a convenient piece that moves around and fixes things. He doesn't really feel that real or justified, even if he is super good at what he does. There's just nothing that brings him to justification.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of hesitant of giving it to you. It is a movie where it was essentially made for people who already knew about the character. Because like I said, the manga came out in 1973.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then he made a whole bunch of cameo appearances, and like Astro Boy was one of them. He had a whole bunch of scenes in Astro Boy. For those who don't know what Astro Boy is, you should. It's a very old anime, and it's a huge iconic figure when it comes to anime.
Astro Boy is cool.
Yeah, he played a lot of cameos in there, and then they did a live TV show about it, and then they made a live action movie, and then they did the anime movie, which is what you saw. Then they did a series back in 2003 for it, which lasted about like 6 episodes, I think. And then the one that you see when you go to Crunchyroll, when you type in Blackjack, you see like this anime that has like 26, 27 episodes, and that's like an origin story that shows you when he was going to medical school and learning how to be who he was. It's like, I don't remember what it was called, Blackjack something, but it's the one that you see on all the anime streaming services. But it's a very old anime. It's obviously has a lot of fans in Japan. But yeah, the movie was made for people who already knew the character. So
okay.
That's why they don't really go back and tell you about him and his history or anything like that.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be interesting, something different.
Yeah, I like the medical side of things. That was great. But just everything around it was kind of meh.
I think that was everyone, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. So are we using our new schedule today?
Seems like it, yeah.
Chris, tell us, the class, what anime we should watch.
Hey, wait. Alfonso didn't talk. Oh, yeah, he didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, he didn't get to watch it. He was in
Sorry, Fonzie.
It's all right. My only thing is, will I be able to talk about it next week?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
He was in his real life anime.
Yeah, it was in real life anime.
Yeah. We should probably explain to everybody the change we're making, though, first.
Yeah. Basically, we've decided, because it ends up with us talking one by one and then taking forever, that maybe it would be a good idea, because this is Chris's amazing idea, because Chris is awesome.
Well, thank you.
to have a book style club. And basically we have one anime picked for us, which they're not looking forward to when it's my turn. And
I will be.
We will all discuss it civilized. I mean, as civilized as we can be when it comes to us. In a manner where we talk about the anime we watch for the week. That way, if one of us can't make that week, it's no issues of trying to skip. So yeah, that's the plan, I think.
The Problematic Sticker Anime Club.
There you
I've always
go.
wanted to be in a book club.
Me too.
Now we can do one about anime. Isn't it great?
It's the best. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that the idea took hold. I really am. I think this will be really be a benefit as a whole to the podcast. So I'm excited. Let me actually present to you the anime that inspired this idea, because
I hope it's
It
based
was
on
one-
a book club.
no, it's not. It's actually, you'll see. Okay, so basically I started watching a couple other animes, and including some currently ongoing, and as I was watching this one, I was so blown away by the ending of the first season that I wanted to really talk to you guys about this. I'm like, well, fuck, I want everybody to be able to experience this so we can actually talk about that. And this is where the idea came from.
Yeah.
From that. So what this anime is called, it is on Crunchyroll. It is called Hitori no Shita, the Outcast.
Again?
Can you spell that for us?
Yes. Hitori space NO space SHITA, and then it's hyphen the Outcast. That's the name of it. I don't know.
Under one person is the English translation. Sounds like a porno.
I was going to say, that sounds like some ad pick. Thanks, Chris.
No, so this, I don't know. I do not know how to explain what happened, but this anime, I was just browsing through Crunchyroll, checking out updated. This one jumped out at me. I started watching it, fell in love with it. It's honestly one of my new animes. It's currently in its second season. I don't know if it's finished or not, but I would say only like the first season I think would be manageable for everybody, barring any extreme circumstances. It's 12 episodes, and wow, where to start? There is so much going on in this anime. It starts out with a gentleman named Cho Shakurin. His grave is disturbed, and his grandson comes back to town, his Soran, and he wants to go visit his grandfather's grave, and he gets in and comes to find out that it's been robbed. It's been dug up, like the whole grave is just obliterated. And his body was the only one that was stolen. And in order to kind of, after the police chief tells him this after he gets back into town, that night he goes to the grave, and there's a woman there, kind of digging the grave back up. And he has no idea who this woman is, but they kind of get to... he spies on her, and then he runs away because he thinks she looks crazy. And then she catches up to him and whoops his ass. And he wakes up in the grave, and this woman is beginning to bury him alive, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on. And if you think just the beginning of it starts out weird, wait. It gets... I will warn you, it gets so far off wall that you're just like, what the fuck is going on? But I promise it'll all make sense at the end of the first season, and I was blown away by it. That first season was one of the best things I've ever done. So I hope that you enjoy it, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this. If we're able to do a spoiler cast next week for the first season, I think that would be fucking great.
I think with everybody talking about it, that probably would be an all right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. That is my recommendation. And I'm very happy again that we were able to do this. I'm excited for this.
So yeah, that'll be our week, mainly because we have two podcasts on this channel PlayStation Unchained and the anime, the Problematic Sticker podcast, and with both being almost 2 hours long some weeks, especially with E3 coming up next week, I felt like this was a good idea to take in, just so we can more condensed, but still feel a Problematic Stickers podcast, because we are the Problematic Stickers.
I am a problematic sticker.
And that's why we love you.
Yes, I love it.
So we'll round up the podcast now. Klaus, do you have any shout-outs?
Actually, I want to talk about something I just started out on our stream at twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio. This year, we're pleased to be joining Extra for the second year this year and raising funds for children's hospitals across the country. For the month of June, I have decided to put my beard on the line.
It's the final countdown.
What that means, I'm looking for everybody's help here. We're trying to raise $500 for our Extra Life charity, and if we can do that, I'm setting up two different teams. You can either choose to say bye-bye beard, or you can choose to save the beard. If you donate to our Extra Life, you can go to phoenixdownradio.com and click on the Extra Life donation on the link on the side. You can choose which team you want to join, and whichever team has the most donations, they will get their wish.
Can we get a spoiler?
A spoiler?
Who's winning so far?
Right now, Team Bye Bye Beard has a seed.
Ooh.
So, like I say, if we can hit that $500 goal, we may be shaving the beard at the end of the month, guys. So,
how close are we?
We still have a ways to go. We're at 175.
That's not bad.
Of our $500 goal. So we have the full month of June to go. So I'm reaching out here as well to try and spread the word and hope that we can raise some money for an amazing charity. They raised over $9 or $10 million last year alone for all these children's hospitals.
Oh, wow.
So it's definitely a very worthwhile cause, and we're very happy to be joining them again this year. So again, if you want more information, phoenixdownradio.com.
I'm sure there'll be a link at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio also, if you want to go
there.
There
is there as well, yes.
Yeah. Or follow them on Twitter at Phoenix Down Radio. I'm sure
PHXDN Radio, yes. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to spend my time to discuss. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you having me on again.
No problem. Thank you for being on. It's always good to have you on, mate.
One question.
I'm really going to miss the beard if it leaves. I will say that. I love the beard, Klaus.
Well, the reason I'm doing it now is because I figured that at least regrow it again, and maybe we can do it again once actual Games Day 2018 comes in November.
Ooh.
Make the stakes a little bit higher at that point. So.
Anyway, Alfonso, you were going to say something.
Can we donate for both teams, or you want to be on one team?
No, you can do whatever you want, really.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just if you choose to donate and want to join a team, just in a little message window, you can just put like hashtag team hashtag bye bye beard or team hashtag save the beard. That way, I have something that I can reference and I can update it.
Okay.
Cool. And is that all your shout-outs?
Yes.
Alfonso, do you have any shout-outs?
To you guys, the listeners, to the followers, to the assholes who will listen to my story, do not once, because you will pay the consequences. That is it.
Yes.
I don't know who you are, but I'll find you. And I'll mess you up.
And Chris, have you got any shout-outs?
Friends, fans, family, you guys. Follow me on Twitter at Devangel, DEVANGIEL. And yeah, that's all.
Gary? His shout-outs don't exist. His shout-outs to I hate video games.
Sorry, I was on mute. Same as Chris. Everybody, thanks for having me on. Reach out to me on Twitter at Gagaush. That's GAGLAUSH.
And the sexy Tim news.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We love having you around. Fonzie, I'm really glad you survived. And knowing now, I feel like it's probably best for them that they survived.
Yeah.
Like, you were already bad at story. You're like above and beyond.
That was an interesting story. Though I'm still sad that you weren't driving with the knife in your mouth, but you know,
Why?
I don't know.
Why, Dad? Why?
It's Ben. Do you really have to?
Yes, I have to ask.
We don't
I
really
have to
see
ask.
many
And
people.
Shannon's gonna ask.
People don't really wield knives here in England, so I don't know how you hold them.
There's a handle, right?
I don't know.
I'm just,
Hand is in the name.
what do you wield in Scarsborough, Ben?
Claws and frying
my-
pans.
Here I thought it was, whips and...
Well, that's something
Holy
else.
water and
Yeah, we got and we punch walls to bring out turkeys.
got
God's
turkey
sake.
wheels.
Jerry, is your family name actually Belmont?
So yeah. On that bombshell.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Shout into my shout. Shout to Mushroom Radio. Shout to Phoenix Down. Shout out to everyone else here. A shout out to our American Girlfriend's favorite streamer. And a shout out to this new podcast I listen to called Ruggers Reach. Go check them out. A shout out to everything that exists. A shout out to Alfonso. Alfonso, you're a badass. And I'm now scared of you. So until next week, I'll see you all if I'm still alive. Bye.